What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Welcome to today's cable news craziness, where we take a look at some of the craziness that takes place on cable news. Today, MSNBC's Yamiche Alcindor has a great story to tell you about how people come up to her and say, "Hey, are you a reporter on MSNBC and PBS? Cool. Here's a bunch of racist stuff I'd like to say." Roll it.
What is it that's going on in this country now? What is it that's so terrifying for white people? And that's what this is about, that people of color are threatening them so deeply that they are willing to dismiss democratic tenets. And I'm just repeating what I said earlier because I have no other explanation, Joe. There's nothing else there. We could sit in a room, you could put the 10 smartest scholars in a room. That's it. It's I'm saying that, the quiet part out loud. There's no other explanation. And that's what we have to deal with this country right now. We are a divided country, and it's about race. I don't care what anybody else says.
Yamiche, you've been covering the president for the better part of 5 years. What's your take on Donnie's theory?
I think Donnie's theory is a solid one because I've been talking to so many Trump supporters over the last few years. And I have to tell you, even when I talk to them about policies, about foreign policy or about China, a lot of times the Trump supporters that I talk to, they turn the issue back to race. Now, maybe it's because they're being interviewed by someone who's African American, but I can remember one of my first hints that this was going to be a running theme of the Trump administration was being in Wisconsin, talking to a man, trying to explain to him about healthcare and talking to him about why he supported the president's health care plan. And he kept on saying, well, people think I'm racist. People think I'm racist. And I finally said, well, sir, even though I'm talking to you about health care, why do people think you're racist? And he said, well, look at you. You're a black girl. How could you get a job at the New York Times? And I'm really concerned about all the African-American people moving into my town. At that time, his town was 97% white. When you fast forward, I'm thinking about another person I'm talking to who was talking to me about the fact that he was really concerned about the kind of the way, the focus that the nation was going. I asked him again, well, what are you really concerned about? He started talking about Antifa, talking about African Americans taking over his town, Mexicans coming for him. He was living in a gated community in Florida, worried about African Americans and Latinos coming into his neighborhood when that community again was some 97 to 98% white. There is this real elephant in the room, even when you're talking about policy, that Trump supporters, the ones that I've interacted with, not all of them, but a large majority of them do bring up the issue of race. They do bring up their fears of the unknown of African Americans, of Latinos, of this kind of browning of America. That is just something that needs to be covered, that needs to be said out loud. And I keep thinking about that man in Wisconsin who looked at me and said, how could you possibly have a job and make more money than me? And I said, well, sir, my parents went to college. I went to college. That's part of how I earned this job. But he didn't want to hear it. And he didn't want to talk about healthcare, even though that's what I wanted to talk to him about. He wanted to talk about the fact that he was worried that a black girl like me was a threat to his future.
Wow. Let's let that sit for a second there. That's incredible.
Ignore what is being said here by Donnie Deutsch and Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, who for some reason believe that all opposition to Joe Biden and support for Donald Trump, or more accurately, all opposition to liberal policies, is somehow based in racism. It's just not enough to say we have different opinions and here's why these people are wrong. No, these people are bad and they're racist, and their main driving thing is race and nothing more. Yamiche Alcindor is a well-known reporter, and you're telling me she's going into Wisconsin and walking up to people and they're going, "You're black, right?" She says, "Yes, I am black." And they say, "Here's a bunch of racist stuff that I'd like to say to you." No way is any of this true. This story is a complete and utter lie meant to push an agenda. And by the way, you're paying for this because she is an employee of PBS. She is a federal employee who goes on MSNBC and pushes insane stuff like this. The race issue is a dead issue. That's why we see so many fake hate crimes and all this made up nonsense, because there's just not enough racism to go around these days. And now you have to make it up. And I feel bad for these people because they could literally sit here on this set and just talk about the problems they have with Donald Trump, talk about the good things about Joe Biden. They could do any of that stuff, yet they continue to go back to the same well over and over and over again. again, and that is like there is some racial undertone on everything in this country. And I'm sorry, guys, for you who don't know, I'm a radio talk show host, a TV host in Huntsville, Alabama. Trust me, if there were racial issues, it'd be more likely that people come up to me and say racial things, not Yamiche Alcindor. Trust me, I've dealt with racists before. Yamiche Alcindor does not have people coming up to her and declaring, hey, I'm a racist, please don't write about this. And if this was true, let's just say that this story that Yamiche Alcindor is pushing is true. How come she didn't write about it? How come she never mentioned it on MSNBC or PBS before? Why did it have to get drug out of her this morning? And the answer is, it's not true. She made it up. Go watch the clip again, and you will see a person stumbling and stammering through a story that is obviously not true. But because it is what Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski and Donnie Deutsch wanted, which is basically everyone that opposes Joe Biden or supports Donald Trump is a giant racist, they went along with it. Nobody walked away from this conversation going, that's a really true story. Nobody. This story did not happen. Yamiche Alcindor is an absolute liar here, and it is pathetic to continue to divide America by race over and over and over again. The American people largely do not care. The premise that we are becoming a more racist nation is a lie. It's an insidious lie that doesn't even make any sense. The racial issues are not driving the decision-making process of conservatives, of Republicans, of anyone of any note and with any strength in this country. This is a canard, and it is embarrassing that we are seeing this on cable news almost every single day. That is cable news craziness, and we'll bring you more of it. All you got to do is stay here. Like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, and come on back tomorrow.
Hey folks, you know me, I'm a busy guy. I got a radio show, I got a TV show, I've got a wife that loves me and a kid that, well, kind of indifferent. The deal is this, I'm hungry and I need to eat, but it needs to be easy because I've got so much going on. That's where Lean Kitchen comes in for me. Great food ready for me whenever I need it. They make it and they make it taste amazing and it's good for you as well. Go learn more about them at leankitchenco.com. Open in Gunnersville, open in Huntsville. You will absolutely love it. leankitchenco.com.